Welcome to Rising Frequencies, where we'll help you apply esoteric wisdom to your daily life. I'm Andrea Mullaney, and I'm here with Lisa Risingberry. Each week, we discuss ways you can help yourself to look inside and perform the inner alchemy needed to grow and evolve and remember who you are and what you came here to do. Welcome, everyone. This is our 10th episode. Hooray!
Yay! And the crowd goes wild. Yay!
And we've actually made it up to the crown chakra. Yay! We've gone through all the chakras, the seven main chakras anyway, and we're up to the crown now. So we will be discussing that today, as well as we're going to start off with some interesting experiences that we've had.
Well, I have to add that the number 10 is completion.
Yes.
So that's interesting that we just finished with the 7th of the major chakras when we do our 10th show.
Exactly.
On a full moon and Mercury retrograde.
Yes, bear with us. Oh my
God. Good lordy. I know.
So it's a new moon. We can record on February. It's February 3rd, by the way. 2-3. Ah, the lovely 5. Never mind. Not going there. But
I know you fooled me last week. Well, we had all those problems and I had no idea it was the first day of Mercury retrograde. We couldn't get the show going. We couldn't record. I'm the one that records, and everything was so screwed up. So I switched to a different computer, and after like an hour, would you say, or more?
Yeah.
It was about like an hour. Finally, I got it to record and got everything right. And then we were so frustrated. We're like, are we going to do the show? And we're like, yeah, okay. So we did the show. And then after we were all done, she's like, yeah, it's the first day of Mercury retrograde. I didn't want to tell you. I probably would have said, that's bad juju.
That's right.
We're not doing it.
But it is safe to do anything with it that begins with the word R-E, on Mercury retrograde. Record!
It didn't record. I don't know why. It was all screwed up. And then she tells me 2 days ago, she said, oh yeah, we can record on Tuesday. It's a new moon. And I have not been following astrology. I've been doing other things. And I'm like, oh, cool beans. It's a full moon. New beginnings. This is great. Blah, 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 blah. And then I get a post from my friend Helene Lipson about the full moon in Leo. And I'm like, what? It's not a new moon in Leo? And then I see this big old full moon out my window.
Yeah, I'm like, oh no. Oh, that would be a full moon. Of course it would be a full moon. Yes, but when Mercury's retrograde, you can retry things, because you'll probably be doing that a lot. You can remember. You can... You just can't record very well.
You just can't record on the retrograde.
Oh, well. So, yeah. Anywho, so of late, we have been assisting with Santos Bonacci's radio show on Sundays, and he brought up, he's been talking about the lamb and the ram and how those symbols are carried throughout language. And one of the examples of the lamb was the infinity symbol. He brought it up. It's called, the official name of it is the lemniscate, Lemniscate, and he said the lem is part of lamb. And it's interesting because I've been thinking a lot about the infinity symbol, and I have some interesting dreams sometimes where I'm given messages and shown things. And I was actually shown a figure of the infinity symbol sideways, which is a sideways symbol, the lemniscate, and it twisted and well, not twisted, but it levitated and turned upright. And I was just given the knowing that that's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be vertical, not horizontal. And horizontal is not correct. It's not the correct energy. It needs to be standing upright to be in the correct energy. And Lisa and I have been doing a lot of research on this, and we're going to write a paper about it, about what we're finding.
Yeah, we actually started the research before she had the dreams, because, you know, when you look at the 8, it's a combination of 6 and 9, and as above, so below. and it pulls it into an 8, the infinity symbol. And when you look at DNA and how, and if you look at the caduceus symbol and how it just crosses over, it's just infinity symbol, infinity symbol. But technically, the infinity symbol is on its side. And so we've been doing research and, oh my gosh, coming up with amazing stuff. And a lot of the things that we're finding is not written. I can't find it written anywhere, but we're doing gematria. Right. And the gematria is very creepily, it's actually scary, and it just blows your mind. It's so much fun. It is supporting what we've come up with. Yeah. And yeah, so. Oh, I know. Yes.
And also, in an earlier show, I think I talked about on my front window, the sun has turned it pinkish colored, and I have shapes on the window that have been etched in with the light from the sun. And one of them looks like a spinal column going straight up, and it looks like little infinity symbols boop, 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 going straight up. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you have a picture of that. You've posted.
Yeah,
you've posted it on Facebook.
Yeah, I'll put it on our page on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. That just appeared one day, and I finally think I know what it is. So.
But your experience went just beyond seeing the DNA. Your skin turned gold.
Yeah. Yes. So this was actually just a few days ago.
Well, it didn't turn gold.
Right. It looked like it, though.
Let me clarify that. We'll get a whole bunch of emails about that one.
I know. I work from home, and I was about to begin my work day. It's nice and quiet right before I start work. I get up really early to get my son on the school bus, and then I have about an hour after that before I have to start work. And I start work at 8 a.m. Central Time, which is, anyway. And so I was sitting down, and instead of getting immediately on the computer, I felt like I needed to meditate. And I just, bam, fell into a meditation, like immediately went into that state that usually takes me a little while to go deeper and deeper and get into. I popped right into it. And I didn't even sit where I normally sit. I was on my computer chair still, and I'm like, boom, I was in that state, and I started seeing, I visualized each of my chakras. It's starting at the root, and I saw each one it was like I was getting turned on or activated somehow. Each one started spinning, starting at the root, spin, and then boom, and it bursts into light. And each one at a time, like buttons kind of bursting and then turning into light all the way up my body. And then went all the way up to my crown, and I was just covered with golden light. And then the golden light went all the way around my body. And then I went back, and my attention went back inside of myself again. And I started seeing the two energy streams, like two snakes, the red snake and a blue snake. The red is the masculine energy, and the blue is the feminine negative energy. The red is the positive energy. And they started swirling back and forth, crossing each other, and then spinning and swirling and spinning and swirling and spinning. And then they were going so fast that they joined together in the center and turned gold. And then this gold energy, shaped in infinity symbols, one after the other, all connected, started to shoot up my core, the center of my body. And as the center stalk started rising, there were these strings of infinity symbols lying down kind of all around it. And they began to rise up and intertwine with the central cord. It would look like fiber optic cables kind of coming together and combining and joining and wave, like in a wave formation, coming together, overlapping waves, all spinning and rising and spinning and rising. And they were all golden. Everything was gold. There's no other color besides gold. And then it went shooting out of my crown chakra and just went up into the sky and and it was just symbols and numbers and infinity. So, and it just kind of went up and joined with something up there. And then I slowly, and that was the first part of it. And I started to come out of the meditation, and I'm like, what the heck just happened? And immediately from that point forward, I knew that those infinity symbols were our DNA, and I felt that I was having strands of DNA joined together in multiple strands, all joining together, and it shot out of my head and went out into the world with these codes. And then I got up from the computer, and I was in a little bit of a daze, and I walked outside and felt like I really needed to ground myself and sit down and on the earth. And I live in Texas, and it was a very nice day that day. It was warm, so I went out without any shoes on and sat down and put my feet on the ground and my palms of my hand on the ground, and my whole body started shaking, and I just felt wave after wave of this golden energy zooming through my body, just coming up. I was like a fountain, and it was coming. I was connected through to the earth and through to me, but I don't know if it was coming up out of me or down into the earth through me. I'm not really sure, but it was coming through, and it was strange because I was almost to the point where I was a little bit like annoyed, like my body was just a conduit, so I'm like, yeah, okay, so go ahead, use my body, just don't hurt me.
I know, you're like the golden straw.
That's what I felt like. I'm like, okay. And then the sun just began to rise and was shining on my face, and I felt the sun. I opened my eyes, and I had lifted up my hands off the earth, and I looked at my right hand, and it was golden. I looked like I was jaundiced. It was gold. And then I looked at my left hand, and it was gold too. And I blinked for 5 or 6 times to make sure it didn't go away. And it didn't. It stayed for a good 20 seconds. Both of my hands stayed gold. And then finally everything subsided, the shaking subsided, and my hands turned back flesh colored, and I'm like, okay, it's time to start work now.
Just your average everyday experience, you know.
Yeah.
This is what I'm just a housewife. I work from home, and yeah, and I kind of turned gold. It's like King Midas. Oh my goodness.
But that was I think this knowledge about the infinity symbol really kind of, I don't know if it kicked it off or what, but I definitely think the infinity symbol represents DNA, and it's kind of like the lying down DNA, the sideways infinity symbol needed to stand up and correct itself. It was broken. I don't know, just kind of an interesting metaphor.
Well, we know it represents, well, I've never seen it written that it represents DNA, but most people know it represents DNA, but our research has gone past that, which is really good. But we don't want to present that yet because we're still writing the paper, and it's oh my gosh, it's really complicated.
Yes.
We jumped down a huge rabbit hole.
Yes. It's really neat. I love the internet.
I know.
Pull the string and just go from one thing to another thing to another thing. Yeah, it was very
interesting. Well, my experience that I had, and she's actually had more than just one, I have to add. She's had probably like 4 crazy experiences. That's probably top on the list. I've only had one. I've been doing a lot of Tibetan studies and different yoga practices and clearing of your energy. The Tibetans believe you just don't read about it. You actually physically do it. There's thousands and thousands of years of research that proves that the way they meditate and the way they move their body opens you up. There are some Tibetan monks that can actually levitate. And I have to say, they glow. Their skin does actually glow. They can light up a room with their body like they did back in Atlantis, and they're doing it now. So I've been doing my exercises, and I have a little ritual, little thing I do before I go to sleep. I also practice dream yoga and sleep yoga, so I just don't fall into a stupor when I go to sleep. I do the 9 breaths of purification and kind of go into a nice peaceful meditative state. That's just my usual thing. So I was relaxed, and I'm in that theta brainwave, and I just, I'm really in the zone, and I just got the thought that I need to clear my pipes. I need to really clear my chakras, and I usually don't get this feeling before I go to sleep. So I'm like, okay, just, no thought. I didn't even analyze it. It was just all from the heart. I just went into my crown chakra, and I took a great big deep breath in, like I do with the 9 breaths of purification. And you blow out through your nose when you do this Tibetan exercise. So I did that, and I visualized, puff of smoke coming out of my crown chakra. That came out nicely. Went to the third eye, that was great. Went to the throat, that was good. Went to the heart, fine. I got to my solar plexus, and I just was like, that's kind of like what it sounded like. Nothing, the air just wouldn't come out. And that's what happens if you have something there. And I just, I would take a great big deep breath in, and I would just try to blow it out my nose, and it sounded like a snort. And I'm like, what's going on? So I just was, I gotta pop the plug. So I just gave it all of my gusto. I just took this huge breath and just popped it, and it took like probably 3 times after I could finally get energy flowing through there. And I'm usually pretty open, so I don't know what that was. Went to the sacral, it was pretty good. Went down to my root, it was good. Connected the root and the crown, and it was flowing. Everything was great. Everything's hunky dory. All of a sudden, I'm laying there, and I guess it was like not less than a minute later, I see faces, and at first they're like pencil drawings, and they're sketches, and they're animated, they're actually moving, and they're talking, but they just dissolve, and it's like face, 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 dissolve, 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 dissolve. And I'm just like, when that stuff happens, you can't analyze it, and it's just okay. And I'm just watching it because I don't want to lose it, so I'm staying in the zone in his face. Then I saw some actual like remote viewing image where it was color, like full color, and their faces melted. I knew one of them, and that kind of just blew me away. And then it just stopped, and I'm okay, I don't analyze it, I don't read anything to it, and I fell asleep. And I'm a very lucid dreamer, so I don't know how long it was. I was asleep, and I find myself inside of an egg, and it's this egg, and I'm trapped. I'm stuck in this egg. So I just start rocking myself back and forth as hard as I can, and I bust out of this egg, and then it's like my energy is just floating. I just like spread my wings, and I was like, oh my gosh, because I was so tightly cramped. My knees were like almost to my forehead, and my whole body at that point just vibrated. I was just like a tuning fork, and it wasn't Kundalini. I've had lots of Kundalini experiences. It wasn't my spinal column. It was completely different. It just, my whole body vibrated. It felt so good. And then I had the feeling that I was going up and out, like I have had a near-death experience, a couple of them, so I know what that feels like. So I'm just laying there with my eyes closed, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going home. I'm done here. I'm done. I'm leaving. Lisa's leaving the building, and I didn't go anywhere. It took me up and out and stopped at the up. And then I stop vibrating, and then I open my eyes and I'm in my bedroom.
Wow.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was very cool. So I broke something. I got out of something. I went to another level, and whatever the heck was in my solar plexus, it's not there anymore.
Yeah, I'd say not.
Well, that's we've gone over this on the show, but your solar plexus is your will. Your will to do things, your will to set your boundaries, to start a project and follow through, and have the self-confidence. And women are lacking in that a lot. It's kind of tough, and everything I've been doing, with this show and everything else in my life has just been brand new for me, things I've never done. And I think when the next day when I did analyze it, which some people say it's good, some people say it's bad to analyze it, but after you have an experience like that, how can you not go all left brain on it, So my interpretation is, when I saw the faces, I think it was just people's opinions. These faces that would just hold me back, and just for me to say, I can't do that. Oh, no, I can't do that. A friend of mine, Helene Lipson, I think, this is the second plug I've given you, Helene. Hope you listen to the show. She's a very, very good psychic astrologer, and she told me in 2013 that I was going to have my own radio show. And I'm going to cuss because I have to. I said, Helene, I love you, girl, but you're full of shit. I said, there's just no way. No, I'm too shy. I'm never going to do that. And she was right. Here I am with Andrea. So that was very cool.
Yes, our lives have changed a lot.
A lot. And I am actually going to eventually share some of the exercises that I'm doing with my Tibetan studies, because that experience is one, but I am so happy and so balanced, and I'm having such good experiences with these practices. And you have to physically do them. You work your body, you work the energy through your body, concentrating on different centers on your body, and it works. It absolutely 100% works. So I'm going to share as much as I can, and throw out some books and YouTube videos that you can watch so other people can have this enjoyment, because it's great.
Absolutely. I mean, and once we're finished, we've gone through at the end of this show, we'll have gone through all the basic chakras. So then it's time to move on and build on that. So
yeah.
That's going to be so exciting.
And speaking of chakras, let's go on to the crown.
The crown. Yes. The crown is the seventh, the final of the primary chakras. And each chakra is an energy vortex, but this is the one that connects you to your true self, your higher self, or the divine. It also plays a master role, much in the same way that the pituitary gland is the master gland of your endocrine system. Although they also say the hypothalamus is the secret master gland behind the pituitary. Just saying. Anyway,
it's true.
Yeah, it's the seat of your illumination, godliness, and spiritual enlightenment. Much the same as your root chakra is responsible for your physical energy and well-being in this life. Your crown chakra, it's match, equal and opposite kind of. Your crown chakra is responsible for your spiritual energy. The crown chakra is known in Sanskrit as the Sahasrara. I'm trying to roll my R's like Santos wants. It's good for us to do.
I'm working on that. I really stink at it. I cannot do it. Won't even try.
It's hard. It means infinite. Imagine that. Infinite, thousandfold, or thousand-spoked wheel, because it has a thousand-petaled flower symbol to it. It is the chakra of consciousness and symbolizes the threshold between psychic and spiritual realms. It is where one attains the highest levels of consciousness and enlightenment. It is located at the actually above the top of the head over the soft spot, which was when babies are born, their skulls aren't completely fused yet. They have what's called the fontanelle, the soft spot in the baby's head. That's the location just above that is where your crown chakra is. The colors are violet, white, and gold. The element is really, it's beyond spirit. Musical note is B. The sense, it's kind of beyond sense, beyond higher thought, but yeah, it's mostly a spiritual chakra. And yes, as I said, the symbol for the Sahasrara has 1,000 petals, which represent the Supreme Self, all virtues manifested and experienced in the atom point, ATOM. The crown chakra governs spiritual connection, devotion, inspiration, selflessness, oneness, nirvana, bliss, divine awareness and understanding, and the brain and the nervous system. It also governs the right eye, your pituitary, your hypothalamus and thalamus glands, all three of those, the cerebral cortex, the ability to transcend the physical laws of nature, miracle working or performing miracles, enlightenment, joy, divine guidance, and spiritual energy and well-being. And then we've got some signs of imbalance in your crown chakra. If you experience depression, frustration, lack of joy, no joie de vivre, you have constant worry and stress, you have a right brain, left brain imbalance, disorientation, lack of grounding, feeling that you're disconnected from your spiritual source or that you're disconnected from others, lack of inspiration, indecision, lethargy, lack of purpose, or you feel like you don't know what your life purpose is, hot and cold personality, sometimes you're passionate, sometimes distant, apathy, indifference, just kind of a general depression, lack of connectedness, lack of oneness. Constant frustration, destructive feelings, inability to manifest your physical needs. Or on the other side, a messiah complex when you have too much. You're out of touch with reality, inability to perceive or connect with your higher awareness and consciousness, inability to recognize divine signs and answers. And then lack of connection with the spirit, you have no spiritual life. Blocked intuition, complete belief in only the five senses, the physical, sense of not belonging on earth. And you have anger or blame towards God. Or you can be a cynic, overly skeptical about all things spiritual, fear of all things spiritual, fear of death, a lack of faith, sense of great personal power with a frustration over being unable to connect with it. And signs that you are in balance include detachment from illusion. You're intuitive or psychic. You're wise. You have faith beyond what's physically sensed. You know how to live in this world, but not of the world. You have an ability to enjoy physical pleasures without becoming addicted to them. Ability to recognize and receive intuitive or spiritual guidance. Ability to know the difference between ego mind and spirit mind. You have a sense of oneness. One is all and all is one. A deep sense of divine connection. Love of life with no fear of death. You have a joyful life, that spark of joy, the joie de vivre. You have the ability to transcend physical laws, including levitation, telepathy, or performing miracles, what are called miracles. You have a non-attachment to the physical. You have a healthy nervous system, healthy brain and endocrine system, total access to the subconscious and unconscious minds. You have awareness, true freedom, feeling that you're truly free, self-acceptance, generosity, able to give and receive freely, able to make good decisions and proceed forward through spiritual guidance. You feel peaceful. You have love and acceptance of God, creator source, and no anger or blame. You have true power. You have knowledge, acceptance, and following of your life's purpose. And you are connected with others, and you feel comfortable on the earth. And then there are things you can do to help balance your crown chakra. You can visualize or wear the colors violet, white, or gold. You can do a ball of light meditation where you visualize a glowing violet, white, or gold ball in your meditation. And then you can do the EFT, TFT meridian tapping. You can listen to the musical note B. Meditate, meditate, meditate. And meditate again.
And did I say meditate?
That's right. And all spiritual activity, praying, breathing exercises, wearing diamonds, or just staring at them. Or amethyst, also amethyst, amber, gold, quartz crystals.
Selenite.
Yeah, selenite. Use frankincense, lotus, star tulip, juniper, and myrrh oils for aromatherapy. And meditate again, and then meditate again.
Meditate.
That's right.
and you can meditate.
I know. All right, and then we've got some affirmations for the crown.
Well, let's say, do you want to do those now, or do you want to do those at the end?
Those are kind of better at the end.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's always a great way to wrap it up. Whenever you're talking about the crown chakra, so many people just want to open the crown. They want to wear the crown. They want to work on the third eye. And when you get into the upper two chakras, it's a culmination of all of them. You can't just say, I'm going to work on my third eye. I'm going to open my crown chakra today. Actually, your crown chakra opens on its own effortlessly, just by doing the work on your other chakras. As you work on your first, your root, your sacral, your solar plexus, your heart, and your throat, especially when you go past the heart, because the heart is the center point. You have 3 below and you have 3 above, as above, so below. Once you break that barrier and you get up into the throat, all that work just piles on each other. If you can picture it kind of like nesting dolls, and each frequency feeds into the other to help the other open and to help the other hit that frequency. And then you move up into the throat, and then you come up into the third eye, which after the break we're going to review how to activate your third eye. However, you have to do work on all of them. And then as it comes through, and then you go past the third eye, your crown will not be fully engaged unless you have the third eye fully functional, because the light that comes in through that, which I'll go over, the Holy Trinity in your brain, that light goes out through your crown chakra, and then you wear the crown. So, and the best way to do all that is, everything that we've been saying on our past 10 shows, working with each chakra, and just, you live life, every experience that you have every day is opening a chakra. Every person you meet is an opportunity for a life lesson for you to learn. Everything you do in your life, you can relate it to one of the 7 major chakras. Every single one of them has a lesson, and as you learn that lesson, you raise the frequency of that chakra. So just by living life every day, you're working on your third eye, you're working on your crown. So many people are like, well, what can I do? Well, just by asking that question, you are doing it without realizing it. And then when you take that next step and really get into meditation and clearing, connecting mind, body, and soul, then the fireworks happen. And with this new energy that's coming in, it's amazing. What used to take people years to accomplish can be done now in a months.
Yeah. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so much easier for us now. The older folks could say back in the day, it was really hard for them, when it was really, really dense and people who were very spiritual, in the 60s and 70s and 80s, it was really hard, and even in the 90s. But for us now, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier.
Yeah, time has spiraled basically, and now everything is much, much faster. Manifestation is so much faster, from thought to materialization. Boom.
Yeah.
If you follow through.
Yeah, the more you work on yourself, the higher you vibrate, the more the ether, the prana, the chi is flowing through your chakras, the more you can take advantage of this new energy. The people that aren't working on themselves, they're not meditating, they don't know a chi from a chia pet, and they have spiritual ignorance. When this new energy comes fully in, they're just not going to be able to take advantage of it. It's going to work against them. Their life is going to get harder. They're going to have ascension symptoms that are going to be horrible, and you don't have to suffer. We're not meant to be suffering martyrs. We are meant to be happy, and working on yourself and meditating is the key.
Exactly. And you learn to use the energy in the right way, and take control over your own body, and control over your thoughts, and control over how you direct your life. You direct the energy, and this ether is just kind of it's a support. It's just like a amplifier of everything that you're thinking and feeling, and so you want to make sure that you're manifesting what you want to manifest, because you're going to manifest. Doesn't matter if it's bad or good. But
I know that is how this new energy is, and I know Geronimo wrote about that. I read some of his older books, and he wrote about that back in the 90s, about this new energy coming in, and he stated once it comes in, you really have to be the master of your mind. You have to be a mastermind of your own body, because you think negativity. In the old energy, there was a time lapse. You could kind of change it, and okay, let's erase that. That might not happen. Right now, we're heading into the golden age. We're heading into the planet's going to have much more ether. AETHER is what I'm referring to, the fifth element, where you're just going to manifest so quickly, and it might not be what you want. So it's so important to be in control of your own brain, and especially when and we're going to go into this after the break, when you want to raise Kundalini. Kundalini is a very, very powerful electric force, and if you force it, especially in this new energy, you could put yourself in the hospital, basically, or really running to a healer very quickly. It can really throw you out of balance. So we're going to go over that after we play a song. Play a couple songs. We'll take a little break. So you researched the songs, Andrea, so do you want to introduce them?
Sure. We have Hand Me the Crown, yay, no fun there, by Julia Haltigan, and Bring Me Closer by Merva.
Yeah, that's what we're working towards, wearing the crown. So we'll see you on the other side of the break, and enjoy the music. Okay, and we're back.
Hello.
Hello. I love that song, Hand Me the Crown. That's just so perfect. And bring me closer to wearing the crown. It's absolutely perfect. I kind of want to go over, everyone wants to know, how do you activate the third eye? You know, so many people are getting nowhere with working on their third eye. Oh, we are broadcasting in the chat, and we have a message, and I actually just want to address this real quick. The reason why you can't hear the music in the chat is because we're recording, and we don't do this show live. So that's why I think there's only 2 people listening right now. We're not brave enough to go live and handle a chat room without a third person yet. So we haven't gotten our act together. So when you listen to this, when we post this on the School of the Holy Science page, then you can hear the music, and it's the song was "Hand Me the Crown" and "Bring Me Closer." It's really cool music. But so many people just work on their third eye, and they don't get anywhere, and they kind of wonder why, and they get so frustrated, and then they just stop, and then it's sad, because when you only work on your third eye and you're not getting anywhere, that means you need to go back down and start at the beginning, at the root of the problem. The root of the problem of your third eye not activating is in your root chakra. Your root chakra, your solar plexus, and your sacral, those 3. And I said them out of order. Root chakra, sacral, solar plexus, your as below. And your as below needs to vibrate at a certain frequency, because everything, you know, like Tesla said, it's all about frequency and vibration, and our bodies are exactly the same. So when that frequency of your root, your sacral, and your solar plexus hit a certain frequency, that comes up into your heart, into your center point, and 0 point of our body. Then from there, that moves up to your throat and your third eye. So you need to build that frequency in your as below, so that pushes up into your as above, if that makes sense. So when you have difficulties either opening the throat, that was my tough spot, and that's a tough spot for a lot of women. Once you do really well, you're vibrating great on the lower 3, you get up in the heart and things are ticking really nice, and then you get up into the throat. For me, the throat chakra took years. Absolutely years.
Me too.
And yeah, you too, I know. And if we had this knowledge, it wouldn't have. It would have taken us a lot faster if we would have known about chakras back then. But I didn't. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what a chakra was. I was clueless. Once I had this information, I was able to pop it open with a lot of work. a lot of work, and yeah, it was not easy, but at least I had the knowledge to do it, you know. So when you get stuck on your third eye, go back to basics. Go back and start clearing the goo in the lower 3, and you'll be amazed at how quickly that happens for you, and then you could go back up into your third eye. When you're in the third eye, so many people only focus on the pituitary. You have three glands that work in the third eye. You have your pituitary, your pineal, and your hypothalamus gland. And if you look at the way they are located in the brain, they form a triangle, an absolute triangle. The 2 P's, pituitary and pineal, are on each side, and at the point of the triangle is the hypothalamus. So as someone I've studied anatomy and physiology of the body, I find that interesting, and I don't think it's by mistake. God knows what he's doing. You have your pineal and your pituitary. P's, they both begin with a P right next to each other, and then the point of the triangle, the H, hypothalamus. That right there tells you that's the Holy Trinity of your brain. When you hit a frequency that is the right vibration. All three of those connect. They go 1, 2, 3, bing, 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 and you have a vibrating triangle in your brain, like a tuning fork.
Like completed circuit, it's all turned on. Just like, you can't skip steps with the, you have to have your root turned on first, and then it just has to turn on and on, and then goes up into your head, and then you've got those three that are kind of the, like the crowning glory almost. It's all connected, the third eye and the crown.
Yeah, and you're correct. I love how you worded that with the circuit, because that's what you're doing. When you fully activate the third eye, you're closing the circuit, and you have a triangle, which we all know how powerful pyramids are, and you have a pyramid in your brain. The pyramid in your brain, your temple, actually goes all the way down through your throat. And if you look at a diagram of the pyramid, Giza, you can actually see how it correlates with your entire brain, and it sits on top of your head. Now, that extra little tiny pyramid at the top, I would consider that like the capstone with your pineal, pituitary, and your hypothalamus. Yeah, isn't that kind of cool?
It is, and that's the eye.
Mm-hmm. That's the all-seeing eye.
Yeah,
and
it's like the pineal gland is
and the eye of Horus.
Yeah.
And when you take the brain, this is kind of gross, but when you chop it in half, and you can look this up online. Don't take my word for it. This research is out there. You can see the eye of Horus. It's shaped in our brain. It's the all-seeing eye. And that is when you have your little triangle going. That's what you want to activate. And the all-seeing eye, of course, is your third eye. Let your eye be single, and your body will fill with light. And this is where meditation, and I am such a booger talking about meditation, because your third eye is a light receptor. The gland, the pituitary, it is a receiver of light. And you can't just take a flashlight and shine it in between your two eyes. That's not the kind of light, If it were that easy, we would all wear the crown. It's meditation. It's when you take no thought. It's spiritual light. And there is no other way. There just isn't any other way. There's no pill. You can use psychedelics, and you'll get that, while you're on that amazing ayahuasca journey. You're going to have those experiences, but it isn't going to fully connect that trinity. You have to maintain that. Now, if you're able to maintain that after you come back from your trip, very good. But most of the time, you go back to the way it's just not going to be connected. If it wasn't connected before, chances are you're closer to being connected, but you have to maintain it for yourself. There is no magic pill. When you do have that connected, the cool thing is that point of the triangle, that point of the pyramid, just like the pyramids in Egypt, sends energy out through that top, and it goes through your crown chakra. And when that happens, you have a halo. And a halo, you're not an angel now. You're not going to sprout wings. You're still going to get mad at people, and you're still going to lose your temper. You still have to do your inner work. But what that is, that's a frequency band. It's a frequency band of light and of sound. And it can be seen. If you're clairvoyant, you can see a halo right floating above people's heads. And what you'll see is it'll start out dim, and it won't be real bright, but you will definitely see a circle. And then as that individual meditates and pulls more light in, and then you're always clearing your chakras. That just never, ever, ever ends unless you're unbalanced and you think you have that Messiah complex. Then your spiritual journey pretty much stops. But if you're a regular Joe, normal person, you're always clearing your chakras. As you do that little circle, that halo that you have, will turn up in ampage and frequency and continue to get brighter and brighter, and then it'll hit a point where it won't get any brighter when it's at its brightest. And you can see it in people when you look at their energy field and they have a bright white halo. That means you have graduated Earth School. You're here to wear the crown, and when you wear the crown, you get your Earth diploma. But your journey doesn't stop, because then you continue on the next level of your journey, and you just keep going on from there. But you are officially done with Earth School when you wear the crown, and that's what that is. You can see that depicted in ancient paintings. A lot of them paint it as a great big gold light around the whole head. That is an incorrect depiction of the halo. That's just a golden aura. And a lot of people do have golden auras around their heads and to their shoulders. Or they have purple, or they have white. That's someone who's very enlightened. If you see someone that has white or a gold aura coming from their head and it stops at their shoulders, not purple, but if you see gold or white, look for the halo, because they probably have one. once they hit those the white and the gold. So
yeah, it's like we're teaching people how to turn on their energy body. Basically, you just have to clear it out and clear out the gunk and get all the circuits to connect and get the energy flowing. And you do that by raising your consciousness level and clearing out the transmuting negative energy. It's all about the energy work, and then you get your crown. You turn on your human light bulb.
Yeah.
Then you can leave. You're done with
well, you don't really leave.
you stick around.
You still kind of stick around. It's not your ticket out of here. Everyone's like, oh, I want to ascend. I want to reach enlightenment so like I can check out of here. No. It doesn't work that way. It could be for, everyone is an individual, but generally, this planet needs a lot of enlightened beings. We need people with halos. And so I don't think Mother Earth is just going to let the people with the halos all just kind of check out all at the same time. There is not a mass ascension of everyone that's, at that level. It just isn't going to happen. The Earth needs people with halos. We need people to do their inner work and to wear the crown. Can you imagine if we had 1 million people on this planet that had halos? We would be so far into the golden age. I mean, that's way, way beyond the magical vibration we need to flip this planet. It's frequency, not numbers.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And that's heaven on earth when you have, it starts with each human raising their consciousness level to bring in more light, more of the heaven frequencies, basically.
I know, when you said that's heaven on earth, I just got these shivers. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, if everybody had halos, or even just 1 million or just 500,000 people, just more than what we have right now, we would be heaven on earth. We really would.
Humans create the darkness on earth, so humans can also bring in the light on earth.
And the light is more powerful. And so that brings the next step is Kundalini, and so many people don't fully understand what Kundalini is, and they think it's a holy grail, and it's not. It's part of the process. Everyone on this planet, if you do your inner work, you're going to definitely have a Kundalini experience. It's natural, like breathing. It's just part of the process. It's not something to be forced. It's something to be enjoyed and have reverence for, because it's amazing. It's electricity that runs up your spinal column, and it really cleans your pipes. I cleaned my pipes with my little exercise that I talked about at the beginning of the show. That's nothing compared to Kundalini. Kundalini goes up and does all 7 chakras as once. Sometimes you can only raise Kundalini to a certain point, and that's okay. Then at least you did some of your chakras, but generally it flows up it might lose its intensity as it gets up towards the top of your head the first couple times you experience it. But trust me, it doesn't stop. You know, you'll have more if you force it. And this is what I just wish so many people could hear this, because you have Kundalini yoga, you have people doing Tumo improperly, and people are just trying to flip that switch because they know enough about Kundalini that it is going to awaken them, and it is going to bring a ton of light into their body, and could even possibly ignite that Holy Trinity in your brain. If you force it, you're in for a world of trouble, because you're putting too much light in your body too quickly. When Kundalini goes up your body, it is a pleasant experience and it is wonderful, but what it does is it opens the gates of your insecurities, your issues, words not spoken, and emotional imbalances. That's what I mean by cleaning the pipes. It cleans things that you've stuffed down your whole life. So you're going to spontaneously get angry. You're going to spontaneously cry. And you won't know why you're crying. I went through that.
I have too.
Oh my gosh, that's like the worst part for me. Like, I'm insane.
Oh my gosh, when I was having that, even that golden energy going through me that I talked about at the beginning of the show.
That made you cry, didn't it?
I cried half the time. Yeah, I was just bawling tears. I'm like, okay.
My eyes are watering now just thinking about my first couple Kundalini experiences, because they were spontaneous. No one told me what Kundalini was. I'd never heard of it. I didn't know what it was. It was so painful because I was trying to stop it. It started at my coccyx down, you know, and oh my God, it hurt. It hurt so bad. I didn't get to the good part until later because no one told me this crap. I didn't have this information. I went through it all blindly. I thought I was in a psychic attack. I thought there were aliens coming after me. I really did, because I didn't know what the heck was happening to me. But what it did is it, you know, if I was not meditating, and my Kundalini experience was spontaneous, I'm a walk-in. I'm sure that had something to do with it. And it just happened. I was not meditating on a regular basis. So I went through hell. I just went through hell. And that's not necessary, and that's not how it's supposed to be done. I think I kind of had a bad experience so I could teach people you don't have to go through that. It's supposed to be pleasant. You know, the anger part is a little bit hard to deal with, but when you have the meditative practices that I'm going to share with people that I do now, you're okay. When you don't meditate, when you're not the master of your mind, and you unleash that serpent, that light serpent that we love of Kundalini, it is so hard. Your ascension symptoms go through the roof. You get really sick. My skin even got discolored. I did have 3 near-death experiences, and it was not pretty. And my issue, what happened to me was, if you could picture my body, my mind, is a perfect example, is like a lake. And prior to my Kundalini rising the first time, and the first 2 times were the worst, the other ones were awesome. My mind was like a windy lake, and I couldn't see the bottom. And it was just always moving, constantly moving. Monkey mind, could not quiet my thoughts. I didn't know I was supposed to. I didn't know any better. And I couldn't see. I had 0 clarity. When you meditate prior to Kundalini experiences, and you're the master of your mind, and that lake is not choppy, it's calm. You learn how to calm the mind, and when you meditate enough, you can be calm throughout your day. You're still going to get angry, and you're still going to get frustrated, but the lake calms very quickly. When you can do that, and you start crying uncontrollably, or you get angry and you don't know, you're just angry. Nothing made you angry. You're just angry. and it's from your Kundalini, you can handle it because your mind is calm. You've accomplished that, and you're prepared for it.
That's
And
right.
you know, yeah, and you know what it is, and it's not such a big deal. If that lake is choppy, and you're doing Kundalini yoga, and you're doing Tumo, and you're trying to push it, and you're trying to push it, you're going to be in problems. A lot of people that are having horrible ascension symptoms, that's part of the problem. They don't meditate. They don't know how to calm their mind. You don't have to suffer through this awakening process. And it is coming, boys and girls. With this new energy, it's going to come. Many people are going to have spontaneous Kundalini. And you need to be prepared for it. You really need to meditate. Let me see what else. I know there was something else I wanted to add about that. I can't think of it right now. I can tell you that if you start to feel pressure in your coccyx down at the base of your spine, and you feel like you have a really bad backache right there, and you're not someone who has back issues, it's starting to stir. So
Interesting.
yeah, I got that a lot, and then I stopped it. And that's when I got into a lot of pain, because I thought I was terrified. I thought I was being attacked, and I just laid there for nights, just crying, holding onto my pillow, because I didn't know what it was. And then, and then it shot up my spine, and then I started vibrating. I'm like, oh my gosh, the grays are really coming after me now. And I didn't know it was just Kundalini until I enrolled in healing school and started to really educate myself more. And then I knew what it was. And I'd already been through 2 bad ones. And then by the time I got to my third and fourth one, it was like, oh my gosh.
Yes, it's a shame. The Kundalini is just as much a part of our body as your hand or your foot. And same with the chakras and the energy centers. And it's just not taught. And so it needs to be, and more people are teaching it. And that's why we're doing it.
Yes.
Too, because people need to know, because now it's going to be undeniable that there's something going on, and people are going to, start having ascension symptoms. They need to know what the heck's going on.
And meditating is your best medicine for your ascension symptoms. I'm finding I am now that I've started my Tibetan practices, I don't have ascension symptoms anymore. My heating, the last time we were talking with the hot sweats and things, I haven't had them. I just don't have them anymore. Not saying they're not going to come, but when they do come, I have my 9 breaths of purification. I have my Zedlong exercises. I have warrior syllables, and I'm going to share all these with our listening audience. And they freaking work. I mean,
oh yeah, the warrior syllables.
They work.
That completely works. I did that today, and I did it last night. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And that's why people in the East, and especially the Tibetans, they don't have issues with Kundalini. They aren't in a rush to raise it because they know it'll happen naturally, and they don't have bad issues. A lot of people who forced it, and they weren't meditating prior, and they weren't preparing, because you have to prepare for this. It's nothing to monkey around with. And they prepared for it, so they're okay. But those that didn't prepare for it are actually turning towards Tibetan healers to try to fix it. And it can be fixed, but it takes some work. But if you do fry yourself, or if you're someone listening and you're having like a Kundalini crisis, a healing crisis, a lot of healers will call it that, you can get help. And I would find someone from the East, Chinese medicine, Tibetan, because they have the knowledge of how to raise Kundalini safely. And they don't even call it Kundalini, and I'm having a brain fart. I can't remember what the Chinese Tibetan name is, but it's not Kundalini.
Prana?
No. It's so, I'll have to, I can't remember. No, it's not. It's such a natural process for them that they don't have a special name for it. Their course of study is much older than Hermetics. And I've always been, a hermetic girl, very Gnostic in my knowledge, and with Kabbalah. And it wasn't just recently until I've gone down the Tibetan road, and I'm having such amazing results. I feel so good. I'm like, why did I wait so long? I was exposed to it.
You had to go through all that.
I did. I had to go through all. I did, and I was exposed to this Tibetan studies in 2011. And I had great experiences. I did like a whole 3-day thing, and for some reason, I just didn't stick with it. And then just for the past 3 weeks, I have been, and I just can't rave enough about how good it makes you feel. But you do have to meditate. You actually do have to do the exercises. You can't just read about them. I wish you could, but you can't. And we in the West, we're kind of lazy, Yeah. The practitioners in the East, they aren't. They are on top of their meditation. They do their exercises, and they're ahead of us.
Yeah, we've gotten ourselves so busy that it's like, oh, I don't have time to meditate. Well, the thing is, honestly,
you don't have time not to.
Yes, you need to reprioritize then. Meditation should be more important than your job even, or you can just do it for 10 minutes to fit it in here and there and build on that. And once you begin for 10 minutes, you'll find more time. You'll be able, because you'll be calmer, and you'll be able to handle your stress. What used to be a stressful day will not be a stressful day anymore, and you'll be more efficient. It just helps in every area. And then and
that's a good point. Even just 10 minutes, because those people in the West, when you just very first start meditating, it's not a big deal just to sit just for 5 or 10 minutes. You don't have to be like a great yogi and sit for an hour. You will. I guarantee you will. 100%. You will be able to not nod off into sleep. You will have complete awareness, highest level of consciousness possible, and you will be able to maintain that for 1 hour. I guarantee it. And the hour will just go poof, and you won't even realize it. However, until you get to that point, it's much better to sit short and clear than long and fuzzy, because as soon as you're meditating, and I am not at that hour mark, I'm like at I can hold that high level of consciousness for like 25 minutes, and then my head will just go bloop. I mean, it just you hit your limit. And the Tibetan teacher that I follow, he was talking on YouTube, and he even did it. He goes, "What is that?" And your head goes. He goes, "That's when you lose your lucidity. That's when you lose your consciousness. You're at your limit. That's when you stop meditating." And I'm thinking, I don't do that. I know I don't do that.
I do that.
Not me. I never paid attention. That's how lucid I was. And so I was in my meditation yesterday, and I was in my zone, and I was not feeling sleepy. I felt like I'm going to a higher level. I felt like I was, just, I don't know, gonna spontaneously combust. I thought I hit something really cool, and there went my head. Bloop. And I'm like, crap. Man. And I looked at the clock, and I was like, look, only 25 minutes. Okay, well, that's so, but it's just baby steps. But we don't have time not to raise our Kundalini. We don't have time not to wear the crown with this new energy coming in. It's up to us, folks. Most of the planet is still asleep. It's those of us that are awake and aware that we need to do it.
And as all the distractions and everything speeds up, like my son, I have an 11-year-old son, and he was showing me, he's like, "Hey, look at this. He was showing me Vine, which is a site where, like YouTube, Facebook, a social media site, where they show 6-second video clips, one after the other, after the other, after the other. And they're like super fabulous, crazy, wild, whatever, like over the top things that only take 6 seconds. And it's one after the other. So imagine what that does to your brain. It distracts you so much that it's so difficult for you to slow down after that. and it's just, and it almost gives you ADD. It pushes it to you, and I'm like, He's like, even my son's like, this is actually giving me a headache. He's like, one thing after another. There's so much input. And as the world is speeding up and becoming so fast, so stressful, so much at you all the time, and the purpose is to distract you. So as the world gets faster, as all of this input comes in faster and faster through your phone, through your computer, through your television, it's time for you to become slower. Slow down, unplug, and just push back. And your slow, calm energy will have its ripple effect on the world to calm things down. We've got to be the peace in this chaotic environment.
I know.
And we've got to make time for the peace. And
sometimes when I'm meditating, and I do want to go past my head nodding, even though I do stop, but I just, sometimes I just don't want to stop, because as soon as you stop that meditation, you're plugged back in.
Yes.
Because you have to clean the toilets, and you have to deal, with your spouse and your family and the mortgage, and we don't live in caves, and it's not easy.
Yeah.
But since I have been doing this new spiritual practice, I have to say I'm happier. I have so much more joy cleaning those toilets now.
And me too. As I've done more and more of the meditation and worked on my spiritual practice as well, I had such a stress. To me, my job was very busy and stressful, as I wear many hats. My company is
yeah,
small.
I don't know how you do it.
But I'm not stressed about it anymore. Even, if I do have to work late, I'm kind of, well, it's okay. I'm able to, I can multitask. If I'm doing something, I'll listen to nice calming music while I'm doing an intensive bit of work, or, and just overall, and I'm much more efficient, and I don't know, it just makes your life, just makes you happier.
It
no
does.
matter what you're doing,
And with the warrior syllables, when you can transmute that anger or the depression or whatever it is, especially the anger that you're feeling, it's like anger has two polarities. You can't, there's so many people that just want to stick their head in the sand. They never want to get mad. Well, you need that, because that shows you, hey, that's not right. And the anger is an alarm. Something's not right. Fear is, is an alarm. That's not good. But you just can't sit in that. There's no reason for you to sit in anger or frustration or depression for hours and hours and days and days. That's not productive. You can't. Your lake is wavy. You can't see to the bottom, and you have zero clarity from that point of view. So next week I'll do the warrior syllables, and just by these and Tibetan syllables, by toning them into your body with the frequency, it just takes away the frequency of the anger, and you use the anger for its intention. It brings to you something that you need to change, and once you see what you need to change through the anger, it doesn't serve its purpose anymore. If you sit in it, it goes right to your liver, and it kills your liver. Anger is the same frequency as your liver. So you don't want to sit into that. So when you use these warrior syllables, you're the warrior. You got angry. You see what needs to be fixed. Now let's make a proper decision. Let's make a decision and a agreement or whatever you need to do from clarity. And then once you get rid of the frequency of anger, you can tackle that problem from clarity, and not from a low frequency of anger, because let's face it, no one makes good decisions when they're angry. Right. You always end up, feeling like someone else is talking, especially when you lose your temper. You're like, I can't believe I said those things, but you did. And that's because you were sitting in that frequency, and we've all been there. And when you change that frequency, it works. And that's what I've been learning, and I can't wait to share it, because it works. It's science. Thousands and thousands of years old, and it works. and I'll share you my experiences. I am by no means a Tibetan monk teacher, but I do want to share what I have learned, and I will point you into the direction of correct websites and books if you want to further your study past what I will supply, or if what I give you is, you know, if it's good enough for you, then that would be fabulous. I'll save you some time. Yeah. Cool beans.
Yes.
Well, I kind of want to go. Do you think we have time to go over the glandular system?
Sure. We've been going about only like an hour and 20 minutes. So
Yeah.
if you want to.
All right. With your chakras, and if you go to any kind of a mystery school in ancient Egypt, you didn't learn chakras without learning about the glandular system, and that has kind of been thrown out unless you go to a good healing school, which I did, and I'm very lucky. And I had thyroid issues. I had Graves' disease, and then I went into Hashimoto's. Am I saying that right?
Hashimoto's. Yes, I have it too. We both have it.
Yeah. No, we don't have it anymore.
You're right.
We had it. My levels are normal. I just have trouble becoming a size 8 again. But yeah, we don't have it anymore. We fixed that. But your whole endocrine system is connected to your chakras. Each little chakra is connected to a gland, and when that gland is out of balance, that chakra really suffers. Like I said, for me, it was the thyroid. So my throat chakra was just horrible. Every time I would go to my holistic practitioner, who is also a healer, she would pull these strings out of my throat, and I would just cough, and they tickled, and I could hardly lay there. And she's like, "Lisa, what do you think I'm pulling out of your throat chakra?" And I'm just laying there, and I'm a student, and I'm like, "I don't know." That goes, "Emma, they feel like strings." She goes, "No, they're words."
Ooh.
She was words, unspoken words. And again, I'm a student, and I didn't really get the whole picture. But but of course, I didn't know enough, and she'd fix me, and I'd go out, to my job. I was a professional dancer at the time in a studio, and dancers you're talked to, and you're not allowed to speak up. Unless I was teaching, that was the only time I could speak up. So it would just go back to being all screwed up again. But eventually my entire glandular system started to crash. And it wasn't just my thyroid. I entered into other autoimmune diseases. So I would kind of... I can't teach a whole class on the endocrine system because it would just take too much time. And I think most people would fall asleep. But I do want to just list the important ones, and they are all connected, absolutely all. If I had thyroid problems, but my adrenals were also burned out, and the adrenal glands are connected to your sacral chakra. But I'll start with the root. Your root, which is your first chakra, and I'm sure everyone can guess very easily which glands are controlled by your root chakra, and it's your the testes and the ovaries. It's your sexual glands. And I will back up a little bit. Your entire endocrine system, the purpose of that is to secrete hormones into your blood system, and they go throughout your body. And it is those hormones, the totality of those hormones, that keep your chakras healthy. If you have any imbalance in your hormones, guaranteed your little chakras are starving, because that's their food. Okay, you feed them with the hormones. Sacral chakra is the adrenal glands. And I have my own little healing business, and pretty much everybody I work on, they have adrenal failure there. And what happens is the adrenal glands just shrivel. They don't have hormones in them, and they just don't have fluid. They dry up like grapes. They just kind of like deflate. And your adrenal glands really regulate your immune system, and they're very active in your metabolism. So if you have weight issues, get your adrenal glands checked out. Solar plexus, that is your pancreas, and that regulates metabolism. The pancreas is also an organ. It's extremely important. It serves two purposes. It's a gland and it's an organ, and that is with your solar plexus, which is your will. You know, your will, your drive to get things done. Heart chakra is your thymus gland, and that is, you know, also connected to your immune system. In my opinion, every endocrine gland is connected to the immune system, because when one gets out of balance, you have an autoimmune system disease, and it's autoimmune disorder is rampant in the United States. It just, you know, I could just rattle them off. There's just so many. The third eye, which we were talking about, is the pituitary, and that produces the hormones and governs the function of the other 5 previous glands. That's why that one is just so important. That's like your little control center, you know, with your keyboard controlling all of the other ones. And then your pineal gland is linked to your third eye, and that one is linked up to your crown chakra, and a lot of people think it does nothing. Well, wrong. And your pineal gland is also connected to your crown chakra, and that's where it gets into your sleep, your melatonin, sensitivity to light and dark. Never sleep with a light on, because that can mess with your pineal gland, and it also regulates your biological clock. And, you know, women know all about that. So I really recommend that you pay close attention to your endocrine gland. The ancients knew how important it is. They taught about it, and, you know, we need to be more educated with that. Just by knowing about your chakras and your glands, that can get rid of autoimmune disorder, because that's what it is. But mainstream doctors don't understand that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I solved my own thyroid problem. I, you know, just left medical science and started doing my own research. And when I went into my last appointment with my endocrine doctor and I started quoting all this medical stuff, because I was in healing school, he just kind of looked at me like I was cross-eyed. He just couldn't answer my questions. I was really throwing some, you know, humdinger of questions at him, medical questions. I didn't use the word chakra, and he couldn't answer me. And then I just, you know, my little voice said, it's time for you to go. You need to do this yourself, and I did.
Yeah, I think the traditional medical system currently in place, especially in the United States, that are totally screwed up medical system. You know, everything's so compartmentalized. Okay, we're going to focus on, and they even have, why do you think they have physicians who specialize just in this area of the body or just in that area? You know, and they tend to treat symptoms, and all the medications really are geared towards treating symptoms instead of really healing a person and looking at the holistic picture. I have a good friend of our family who, she keeps getting sicker and sicker because she's just completely dependent upon doctors. She has kidney failure and is on dialysis, and she'll go to one doctor who will prescribe something for, she had an upset stomach, and so he prescribed these antacids to her that ended up sucking calcium out of her kidneys, and she was off of them. She was off of dialysis for a little bit, but because that antacid took the calcium out of her kidneys, it caused them to fail again. They were starting to function, and they failed because of that. Yeah. And then now she's back on. I mean, they're just not viewing everything. There's just it's all backwards how things are taught.
I know. And the antacids, just to add some more medical in there, they kill the good bacteria in your gut, because that's a whole universe that's completely separate from everything else. And, you know, the antacids kill the good stuff, and that's the food. You know, you need that, and people get depressed. They suffer from depression just because their gut health is so poor. And when you take a good probiotic and a good prebiotic, that right there lifts your mood. And I read an article that the new Prozac is a probiotic and a prebiotic, because your gut and brain connection is so powerful. You know, that's the other, you know, have your glands in order. Have all your ducks in a row. Have your glands in order, but really have that good gut health. Because it affects your brain, and what's at your brain spiritually? Your third eye and your crown. So if you take a good probiotic and prebiotic, you know, because you're combining mind, body, and soul, that is only going to do good things for your Holy Trinity in your brain and for your crown chakra.
Yeah.
And it makes you happier, because I did that as well. You know, I'm a Scorpio. So, you know, if you study medical, where, you know, Santos has his website, his niece does really good charts. I'm getting ready to order all of them for my practice. It shows how each zodiac sign is ruled by certain places. Now, I'm Scorpio, so I am in the reproductive, but I'm right next to the gut. My whole life I've had digestive issues. And so finally last year, you know, I'm telling everybody else, take a probiotic, prebiotic, you know, but I never thought to take care of myself, and I wasn't doing it. So I finally did it. My mood improved. And then finally I read an article that said probiotic and prebiotic is the new Prozac, because of the mind and gut, the brain and gut, and depression, and it is linked to your gut health. And I'm living proof that once I started a good probiotic and a good prebiotic, I was so much happier. And now that I'm doing my Tibetan exercises, I'm sitting pretty good right now.
That's right. You've got the physical taken care of and the energetic.
One day at a time, but yeah, I take one day at a time, because just because I have a good day today, you know, I'm like, you know, you just never know.
Yeah.
So it's just one day at a time. Okay, got this day, and then we'll just walk into tomorrow.
Yes, there's plenty of darkness for us to transmute through our bodies.
Oh my gosh, it just
There'll
never
be more
ends.
Tomorrow.
It never ends. Oh my Lord. But then you'd be bored, you know, if there was this great, you know, apocalyptic moment where you're just, and you're at that level, and you know, I would get bored. I always want to work on myself. I'm always going for the next challenge or the next achievement.
Yeah, do you ever really want to get to the end?
No.
I could stay at the end
of
one thing for a little while, but then I want to start something else.
I know.
I don't want to end.
You know, because we are all one, and we all came from source, and that's where we're all ultimately heading back to. And with oneness, and I'm like, I kind of like working on myself. I like working on myself. I like being of service. I like transmuting stuff. I love learning. I want to clear that next chakra. I want to clear that next energy. I want to pull more light in, you know, because that's, you know.
Clearly, Source likes that too, because Source was all one, and now it's not.
No.
For a reason.
Good point.
To go back there again, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, try not being one, and I'll separate, and I will be many, and then I will find my way back. Yeah, I mean, what the heck?
Yes, and if I had the choice to go back into complete oneness, I don't think I would take it, because I would rather, you know, incarnate into another body outside of this universe and continue to improve myself at a different level.
See what that's like, you know? Like,
yeah, absolutely. You know, the great I am will always be there. Mm-hmm. And I am not ready to
be I am.
To be an I am.
Yeah, I am.
And speaking of the great I am, you want to
do the affirmations?
Do our affirmations, and then we'll call it a night. Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay. So these are the affirmations to focus and strengthen and work on clear your crown chakra. So when you say these, you want to breathe into the top of your head, into the crown chakra. You breathe in these affirmations as you say them out loud. And then you breathe out all restrictions and doubts about who you really are. Breathe in divine knowledge. Breathe out all sense of individual self. Breathe in oneness with the universe. Breathe out universal oneness and imagine the circulation of universal oneness and unity to and through all others, people, places, animals, all forms, whether animate or inanimate. Embrace your oneness with all that is, and as you love all others as yourself, all others are reminded of love and unity. In Lakesh, I am another you. So you get to this place of oneness, and you affirm, I am faith, I am knowing, I am light, I am love, I am joy, I am all knowing, I am present, I am now, I am this moment, I am one, I am the universe, I am that I am, I am infinite.
And I am very grateful for this time that we get to spend together.
Me too.
That was wonderful. Well, thank you everyone to listening to Rising Frequencies. And I guess good day, good evening.
Good morning and good night.
Good morning and good night. We hit them all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.